Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Two Toe Tags and Metal Reviews, and today we're getting our final review of the new album from Atreyu titled Baptize. Alright, so we spent an entire week listening to Baptize as much as we possibly can. I'll hand the floor to TV Fish to get this started, kick it off.
Alright, so after listening to Baptize for an entire week, I have to say the album was... Now, to explain it, I guess I'll start with kind of the lower points because we always like to end off on a high note when we discuss things on our channel. So there's a few tracks that I will say I think should just straight up not exist on this album. One of which being Dead Weight. And it's unfortunate, that this song really was rubbing me the wrong way because it starts really nicely. I like the groove and the verse, but once it hits that chorus, one of the most fundamental problems of this album really shows its face, and that's how try-hard this band is being with their hooks and melodies. I feel like with this chorus, they are trying so hard to make it the catchiest thing, to make it the, yeah, everybody sing along, man, let's go. Like, you don't have to try that hard to make something catchy and make it work, because the first few tracks of this album are solid. Honestly, once you get to around Weed and after, the album starts to fall off. And I would say Weed is okay. Weed's not that bad of a track, but Dead Weight onward is when it really starts to fall apart for me. And I think a big part of it is because it starts to get a little bit more try-hard, but you also feel like you've heard everything. It gets repetitive. And we said that in our first impressions.
In our first impressions, we did say that. We said around track 7, which is Dead Weight, the album starts to fall apart.
I still felt that way throughout the week, because by the time I'm like laid on in the album, I'm like, I've kind of heard all of this already. There's nothing much new that they're bringing to the table here as far as the album goes. So it makes me wonder, if this was a 5-track EP, it would probably be great. Honestly, I think if they cut all of that out, I think it would be great. But anyway, another song that I just think just was not doing it is Stay, which is near the end of the album. So by that point, I'm already just like done. And when I hear this melody, like, it's just annoying me. And it sounds like I forgot the name of the actual song, but that He-Man clip of him just
a meme.
Just that, honestly, listen to that clip of that meme He-Man clip and listen to Stay, you will see the resemblance, because I picked up on that pretty quick, and at least that, like, I think of that when I hear that song, and it's like, okay, I can get a chuckle out of that and make it through the song, I guess.
A lot of interesting stuff you said there. So, you mirrored a lot of what we said in the first impressions, okay? And in the first impressions, near the end of that video, I said, I don't know what's going to happen this week. Maybe I will continue to like the first half and dislike the second half. Maybe it'll flip on me. Maybe the second half will grow on me and the first half will get bad. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But what ended up happening was I got pretty bored of the first half of the album and started to like the second half of the album. My top 2 tracks on this album are track number 12, No Matter What, which is the best song of the album in my opinion. And second favorite track is Dead Weight, which I find very odd that you didn't like it. I think that's a great track, and it might be because of that catchy hook. It got to me. Maybe it bewitched me. Maybe, I don't know.
Wow.
But I really like it. And it grew on me a lot. Tracks that I liked before that from the first impressions, like Baptize and Underrated, and Broken Again in the earlier half of the album, I started getting so bored of these songs. Like, and it wasn't that I was overplaying the first half. I gave everything an equal listen, but like Underrated was probably one of my top songs at the beginning, and all I care about when that song comes on is the breakdown. And it's not even like that juicy. It's a little juicy here and there, but it's not that juicy. But man, Dead Weight, No Matter What, and another one that was good is Catastrophe, which is track number 8. Those 3 tracks grew on me quite a lot. Stay, I agree with TV Fish on this one, is a track that just blows. The verses of this song sound like Hot or Cold by Katy Perry. The way the phrasing's done, it reminds me of Katy Perry, and I'm not a Katy Perry fan, so I'm not going to be a fan of this song. And just to add to that, the next song after that, Warrior, featuring Travis Barker.
Okay, I want to say this about Warrior.
Wait, hold on. Let me just finish my point real quick.
Okay.
I thought that sounded like Avril Lavigne, because Avril Lavigne also has a song that came out recently, I think called Warrior or Warriors, and just I kept getting that connection there and it was bugging me. But
Okay, so Warrior, you said it features Travis Barker. Do you know where Travis Barker is on this track?
no idea.
If I recall correctly, he is the marching snares near the end of the song.
That's what I assumed, but that's pretty sad.
That's sad, because
That's
it's like,
sad.
wow, Travis Barker's on this track.
Yeah.
Not only is that cool because it's Travis Barker, but it's like, wow, a drum feature? You never see that very often, right?
Yeah,
So what they do is they get Travis Barker to play drums for a song that their drummer could easily have done already.
yeah, it
So
added no value.
What was the point of having Travis Barker on that song other than to just say, hey, look, it's Travis Barker?
That's it.
Completely
Just to put
defeats
his
the
name on it.
purpose musically. Now, as for the other two features, Oblivion, which features Matt Heafy, I hate the effect they put on Matt Heafy's voice. It
He
just
sings in that song. I was looking for a voice. I was like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he?
that's a part of the
I'm
problem.
like,
They put-
maybe he's playing guitar, and if that's the point, if that's the case, then there's no fucking point in that either. I couldn't find it. I didn't know where he was on that song.
If you listen to the first verse, the singing, that's his voice, but it's hard to hear because they put this effect on it that just crunches it down and you can barely tell it's Matt
doesn't
Heafy.
sound like him at all.
Even though it is, I can hear it, but it's hard to hear. And that,
Yeah.
it's like, all you need to do is just take that off and by default it's better. But other than that, the song doesn't have much content-wise. It's one of those tracks where by the end of the album, I'm like, who cares? I've heard this before, like I don't. And the hook is annoying. And
Yeah.
So the only one, is it Jacoby? Did I get that right?
Jacoby.
Jacoby Shaddix, Papa Roach.
Yeah.
Untouchable was not bad. Now, in
Yeah.
the second half, there are some songs I thought were actually not bad. Untouchable being one of them, Sabotage Me being another, and Catastrophe No Matter What. I think those four songs in the second half are good. But if you take out Dead Weight, you take out Fucked Up, you take out Oblivion, Stay Warrior, and the album is exponentially better. But the problem is, I just listed like, what, 5 tracks?
Out of 15, yeah.
So that's
That's a third of the album.
1/3 of the album to remove, and that's a huge problem considering that, like, that's a good selection of it that I think really shouldn't be there to help with the consistency of the
What's the
album.
running time on this album? Like 40 minutes?
41 minutes.
Yeah,
It doesn't
so-
feel like that
No.
because it's 15 tracks. Like, that's a lot of music. So that's kind of one of my issues there. However, let's get into some positive things about this album because I do think there are some. The production on this album is very nice. Everything sounds really clean, well balanced, well mixed. There is some interesting stuff happening with just the general sounds. Although I thought that effect on Matt Heafy's voice was bad, it is a interesting thing. Like, they did try a thing. It didn't
Fair.
work, but they did something there.
Yep.
Okay, cool. The performances are really, really good. You can tell that everyone working in this band is strong at what they're doing. Although I don't like these overly catchy and very try-hard, hooks and melodies, they are very well performed.
I think they're effective too.
Yeah, like
They do what they're supposed to do.
I guess.
They get in your head, they get you thinking about it, you sing along with them. I mean, if they played a show, and I don't know what, like, I still haven't listened to past Atreyu, but if they played a show and played this album front to back, the entire crowd would be singing the entire time. These are all arena anthem style songs. Just the way they're performed, it's meant to be that way.
I just think
feel like
it's too extra for, like, it doesn't
It
need
is.
to be.
It is too extra. It feels extra, but they're still, I think, accomplishing what they set out to do. And it's just not something that maybe guys like us are attracted to musically.
Perhaps. I just think you could streamline this album a little bit and you can make it a little bit more interesting while still retaining that. Just think about it. A lot of catchy songs don't have to try that hard to be catchy.
They don't.
I find out a lot of bands are like, yeah, we're gonna make our Black album where every song is the hit.
Yeah.
But I don't think when Metallica made the Black album, they said we're gonna make every song the hit. They just made an album and it happened to be that kind of album where
Yeah.
every song was the hit. So I feel like too many bands are like, we want to do that, and then you're kind of really putting yourself into a tunnel vision to say, no, we have to make them all a hit. We have to make them all, super duper catchy, when you don't have to do that. You don't have to force it. I feel like some of the catchy parts feel a little bit forced on this record.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Like, a lot of the songs, like, these songs have their distinctions. You can tell one riff from
true.
another. Excuse me. But the thing is, they all still have the same vibe, right? Yeah, so the songs all have the same vibe. Just the same feeling overall, and that is not really a good thing. You want some fluctuation, you want some flow on an album that doesn't feel so stagnant.
It's funny because I feel like Dead Weight had some promise with that. In the first verse, when it starts, it's got this kind of mysterious, kind of dark vibe to it, and then just goes to this arena anthem chorus again. And it's like, man, there was potential here. And you know what? I feel like that is a good way of describing this album. There is potential, but it wasn't fully realized.
All right, let's rate it. What do you give Baptize?
All right, so Baptize, like I said, had potential but wasn't fully realized. I feel like if you cut out a lot of the fat, this album actually has a lot of good things to it. And you can tell that these musicians are very capable of making a super strong album. But I feel like they were trying way too hard to really force the catchiness. And they were trying to force too many hooks and whatnot. So I'm going to give it a 4 because it just kind of missed the mark. But there is still some aspects there that are strong.
4 is fair. I agree with a lot of what TV Fish said. I feel like in order to make this album better, what they should have done was reduce it to about 10 tracks and buff the length of the songs.
Agreed.
Instead of having 15 short songs, 10 more average length songs would have been a lot better. The best thing about this album is the vocal performance, and it's consistent throughout. I really, really enjoyed the vocals, but it just was not enough for me. And liking only 3 songs out of 15 is really not enough. I'm going to give it a 5 though, a little bit higher than TV Fish, only because I do think that it does provide fun listen. The songs aren't particularly bad, except for maybe Stay, because it just rubs me the wrong way. But the rest of the album is not bad. It's a fun listen. It is catchy if you're into that sort of get in your head kind of sing along type of stuff. But yeah, I think 5 is going to be my score, 4 from TV Fish. I think those are decent scores. But as usual, let us know down in the comments below what you guys think of this album after listening to it for a week. Do you agree with their scores? Do you have your own preferences? Maybe you hated it more than we did or loved it more than we did. Just comment down below. Hit us up. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
Keep those heads banging.